If you keep waiting for your passion to find you, you'll be waiting forever. And honestly, I believe that's one of the biggest myths that you've been sold. That just wait and your passion will reveal itself to you. Just explore life and the magic you want will start happening and you'll see the path forward. Well, actually, no. A lot of times, and I've seen this happen with many people more than you can imagine, that they can spend their entire lives never knowing for once what their passion was, what they were meant to do, the impact that they could have had on the world. So if you're leaving that up to chance, that's too big of a risk to take, which is why I'm making this video today, so I can give you the 3 simple and practical steps to consciously take action towards and understand how you can find what to do with your life, how you can discover what you are truly meant for, even if right now you have absolutely no idea. So let's begin by diving into step number 1. A lot of people make the mistake of assuming that it's their passion that makes them work hard. It's their passion that brings out all the great characters in them. It's their passion that makes them an amazing, abundant, successful person. But actually, that's not true. All of those characteristics can exist without the passion existing as well, which is why right now, if you have absolutely no idea what to do, stop your focus on doing and bring your focus on becoming. That's step number 1. Become the person you admire. Now see, here's why I say that, okay? All the characteristics that are required for success, they can exist independent of whether you know your passion or not. Hard work, discipline, gratitude, showing up on time, honoring your work, loving the work that you do, making all of these tiny but important shifts happen, that happens when you show up as a better person. So make that your first project. If you don't know what to work upon yourself. If you don't know what to pursue the greatest version of yourself. That's literally so simple, yet it's crazy how so many people just won't do that. Where in the work they are doing today, the justification they will have for slacking off, for avoiding accountability, for not doing great enough is that, oh, it just doesn't feel connected to me. It just doesn't feel purposeful to me. Well, that's an excuse. That's not your reality. Because the truth is, we are meaning makers, not meaning finders. In our jobs, in our professions, in our lives, we are the ones who can create meaning. So that's your first step, that whatever work you may be doing right now, learn to be grateful for it, learn to show up in time for it, learn to honor and value it, and above all, find meaning in that work. And I know your mind's probably saying, Prab, I have the most boring work in the world, or in fact, I don't even have any work right now. I just have to look for something that will pay the bills. You're talking about meaning and gratitude here? Like, where's the connection? Well, here it is, okay? Because I'm about to give you a story. I'm about to give an example that's going to break through all of your limiting beliefs right here. That's going to show you that in any situation, you are the one who controls your meaning. So there was this group and there was this study that was done in a hospital in the United States, where they noticed that there are 2 types of cleaners who work the 12-hour shifts. Now, first of all, cleaning, mopping, brooming. Can this ever be somebody's passion? Can this ever be a job that somebody does because they really want to see a tile shine? Not really, right? You and I both know these are the jobs that we do out of necessity, not out of desire. So possibly, these couldn't really hold any sort of meaning. And yet, there were 2 groups that were working these jobs. Same pay, same rate, same wages, same hours, same everything. Yet one group was slacking off. They were showing up late. They were, just trudging through work, and they were like, what are we doing? Why are we here? They're carrying that low energy with them, right? And it's any kind of, classic dissatisfied employee, dissatisfied person that you would see. This is somebody, and there was this group of cleaners in that hospital who were never really doing up to the mark work. They were always falling short on something or the other, then hearing the managers complain and It was just not a great environment. And yet at the same time, there was another group of cleaners who cleaned as if they were on a mission, as if cleaning that tile is what the possibility of being on Mars was dependent on. Like, that's how much passion, rigor, clarity, courage, just all the traits of success that they would show up for what? Cleaning a tile. Now imagine that, right? Cleaning walls, cleaning tiles, cleaning the hospital floors. Who would be passionate about that? Who would be excited about that? And yet, this group was. And you know what was the difference? They had purpose, the other group didn't. When they asked the other group, the boring one, the lethargic one, what do you do for your living? They said, oh, we're just cleaners. Now you see, when you add that identity, when you add that thinking, naturally nobody gets energy. Nobody feels good. Nobody feels as if they are making things happen. But the second group, the ones who cleaned the tiles as if their life depended on it, they had a different meaning. And they said, actually, we are healers. And they were confusing. You're cleaners, you're not healing people. But then they said, well, if the hospital's not clean, the doctors can't do their job. If the hospital's not clean, a cancer patient won't feel comfortable and warm coming in here. If the hospital's not clean, the families will not be able to sit and support their loved ones through some of the most challenging moments of healing. So yes, we are healers. We are on the front lines that make the healing possible. And that right there is why they were cleaning their tiles like their lives depended on it, because they could see one clean tile, one clean room means one life saved. And you're out there thinking, my work doesn't really have meaning. My work doesn't excite me. Well, if you can feel this by becoming a great person within for something like cleaning and mopping floors, I'm telling you, you can do this for any and all kinds of work in your life. Doesn't matter if you're doing it out of necessity. Doesn't matter if you're doing it out of desire. If you can show up for it with hard work, with courage, with candor, with discipline, with focus, with drive, above all, with purpose and meaning, you take an inch closer towards discovering your passion, because you finally become ready. You finally develop the capacity to hold a passion in your life in the first place. And that is step number 1. And that brings me to step number 2, which is listen to your own heart rather than to the world. And the reason this is step number 2 and not step number 1 is because if you don't build the capacity to become a great person first, if you don't build the capacity to honor your word, if you don't have the capacity to show up for success, regardless of the field, you will never get the confidence to honor your word and to listen to your heart. Because in the back of your mind, there will always be this doubt. Can I really do it? What if I fail? What if this happens? What if that happens? So you will just listen to the world and you will just listen to what they are saying, because that conformity feels safer. But every single successful person, everybody who's discovered their passion and done something crazy, done something amazing in their lives, they've had the courage to break free from the conformity. They've had the courage to break free from the cycle. And because of that, they've listened to their heart. And when they've listened to their heart, they have been able to figure out what their passions in life are. And for this, the problem is not that you don't know how to listen to your heart. You do. I do. Everybody does. That voice of intuition never really dies out. What happens is you drown out that noise, that voice with a lot of noise around you. Like, for example, I'm speaking to you right now. Why? Because I want to convey this message, which is very, very important. So when I'm delivering this message, what am I doing? I'm making sure, right? The window's closed. I'm making sure the fan's not on. I'm making sure the air conditioner's working in a way where it makes minimal noise. I've made sure every other system in my room is on silent. So while I'm speaking to you, there are no interruptions and you can listen to me clearly. You can hear me clearly. But now imagine, instead of all of this, the window was open, there was traffic honking, and then there was some song playing on my laptop, let's say heavy metal music, and that's drowning out my voice, and then the fans running, and then the doors open, so all the household noise is coming in, and a lot of other things are happening. Would you really be able to focus on my message? Probably not. That's why you are finding it hard to listen to your heart. You've drowned it out with so much noise. Where's the time to listen to it? Nowhere. Like if I drown out my voice, you cannot listen to whatever I'm saying. Just like that, to get into this habit, to implement this step, to finally figure out what it is that you love to do, get into the habit of listening to yourself. And the best way to do that? Start journaling. I'm telling you, the way that activity slows your thoughts down is like nothing else. Because when you're putting pen to paper, when you're getting really honest with yourself, when you're getting really candid, you can slow the mind, you can slow the chatter, and you can have a conversation with yourself where you can start listening to what the heart really wants. When you strip away the noise, the answers naturally reveal themselves. So when people say your passion will find you, to some extent they are right. But if you don't consciously take the step of removing the noise, if you don't consciously take the step of creating an environment where the passion can even speak up for itself, then good luck finding it. Then you really can't. Which is why after step 1 of embodying the traits of success, this matters the most. Learn to listen to your heart and not the world. The way to do that is to stop listening to the noise of the world, to block it out for a while, and to start building that amazing relationship with yourself. And the step for that is to journal, to start having these conversations. So you don't even find clarity in the start, that's fine. But you start listening to yourself, that's more than enough. That's what will lead you to the clarity that you seek. And now we come to the third and everybody's favorite step, which is action, where you actually do things that help you see whether the dreams you're looking for are actually even your dreams or not. Because see, when you implement step 1 and step 2, right, you're going to be influenced to the world, you're going to be open to new ideas, and your mind is going to start thinking, hey, maybe that's my passion. Maybe that's something I really want to do. That would be an interesting field to explore. And when all of those thoughts come in, right, the worst thing you could do is just keep them as thoughts. And that's why the third step is to start doing tiny experiments to see whether you really like the work or not. Now, this is where you have the freedom. When you've taken care of your responsibilities with whatever job you may be doing or whatever work you may be doing, and you're passionate and purposeful even over there, you can allow for the heart's desires to show up in the extra time that you have. And you don't have to make it too complicated. You don't have to launch $1 million company. You don't have to go tomorrow and get funding for your startup. You can do a tiny experiment. And I love this idea because the more tiny experiments you do, the more you open your heart up to curiosity. So for example, I'm right now all in on building my coaching business because I can see the vision, I can see the impact, I can see the magic that it is creating. But before this, I also tried out a business in marketing, in sales, and in writing. And I saw that, hey, that business had started to take off. It was kind of doing pretty well as well. But then I realized it's not something I value. That's not my passion. So I had the courage to walk away from that experiment and to see, okay, it's something else that I value and I know for sure that it is coaching. But would I have ever figured that out if I'd never tried building the writing business in the first place, the marketing business in the first place? Never. So that's what's important here. We need to allow failure to happen in our lives. There's nothing wrong with failing. There's nothing wrong with saying, okay, yeah, I was wrong. I didn't know what to do here. I didn't know what step to take. So I'm okay with it. I'm going to take more actions. I'm going to learn more. I am going to pivot. That's completely normal and an okay thing to say. But what's not okay is that out of the fear of failure, you never try. Really? Is that where you want to end up? After doing all this work, after implementing all these steps, this is the step you're going to back off on? Not really. Not on my watch. That's not going to happen. So from now on, the rule is simple, okay? Whatever idea you get, figure out, can I do a tiny experiment with this? Can I actually put myself to take some action to experience what this field is like? And maybe this will be something I absolutely love. And maybe this is the passion. Or maybe this isn't. And both outcomes are okay. But what's not okay is not exploring. See, if I hadn't explored that business, right, I never would have been fully committed to my coaching. You know why? Because in the back of my mind, I would have always thought, hey, what if that would have worked better? What if that could have done better? And you don't want to end up with those thoughts, seriously. Because the more you end up with those thoughts, the more lack of gratitude you have for the work today, the more lack of gratitude you have for the things that are truly your passion. And then that only attracts more struggle, more challenges, more troubles for you in your life. So that's the third step, okay? Take action in whatever tiny experiments you can. Maybe it's your passion, maybe it's not. How will you know? When you try. That is as simple as that. So when you implement all the steps, when you first become the amazing person, then you start listening to your heart rather than to the world. And whatever your heart says, you actually do tiny experiments to see whether it fits or not. Your life will start to fall into place. Your career trajectories will start to seem a lot more aligned. And again, remember, in between, whatever necessities and responsibilities your life demands, if you have to do work for that, that's not your passion, you can still find the passionate traits, because if hospital cleaners could find that, you can definitely find that in whatever work that you're doing. The only question is, are you willing to look? So being sorted on that front, when you implement all these steps, right, two things are going to happen. The first thing is a kind of vision and purpose is going to start setting into your life organically. You don't have to force it. It will just happen when you implement these steps. But over there, something very, very important matters. To really know what your life's work is, to really know what you're meant to do, to really know what is something that brightens you up, what's something that brings out your best, you need to have a vision. You need to have a mission. And then as you're creating that mission and vision from whatever work you may be doing, you have to ask yourself, is it really something that aligns with me? And that answer no coach can give you. That answer no book can give you. That answer only your heart can give you. That answer only your honesty can give you. And over there, right, there are going to be two possibilities. The first possibility is, yes, this vision truly inspires me and I know, come what may, I'm going to make this happen. Boom. Right there, you have found what you are meant to do in this world. Or the vision can, sneak up on you. What I mean by that is, you'll have a very altruistic, very amazing, very great vision, but that's for a secondary benefit. The vision's going to get you, like fame, like money, like other things. And then you're going to be thinking, okay, that's my mission. But deep down, subconsciously, you're wanting something else from that mission. And then what's going to happen is you're going to be in conflict because you're not going to be real with yourself. Is money important? Absolutely. Is fame necessary? 100%. Not for the sake of money and fame and ego boost though, but for the sake of taking your mission and your life's work to the next level. See, this is a very crucial distinction of intention. If your intention is personal gain and just boosting your ego and vanity and stuff like that, I'm sorry, but the mission's not going to last and it's not your passion. Because then in that moment, your passion is not the work that you're doing. Your passion is the fame, the status, the hype that it's going to get you. It's all going to come. The money is going to come. The success is going to come. The recognition is going to come. But it will only last if it comes from a pure intentionate heart. And that's something you need to get brutally honest about. So when you implement all of this, right, life takes on a beautiful journey where these tiny experiments start showing you what is something you really love the most. And as you're implementing these tiny experiments and you're brutally honest about your vision and where it is coming from, what's the source of the inspiration, then the kind of confidence you'll get and the strength you'll get, my God, that will make you unstoppable. And I want to see you unstoppable. I want to see you taking action. So if you are somebody who's ready to put this to paper, and if you are somebody who's ready to make this your core transformation, I'm ready to help you. There's a link in the description to apply for my personalized one-to-one coaching, where I help you with not just this one step, but with complete clarity on exactly how to go from wherever you may be stuck to a life beyond your wildest dreams. All of that's possible when you invest in yourself. That's what the link is for. Sign up now if you are ready for that fast transformation. Thank you so much for being here. I hope today I added value to you and it helped you see hey, finding my passion is not that difficult. But it's not a passive process either. It's an active search of becoming, of listening, and then of acting and doing tiny experiments and being brutally honest with yourself. The more clearly you can implement this process, the more magic you will create. And I'm excited to see the magic that you do create. Thank you so much. I'll see you once again in my next video.